course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
Welcome, Ultimate fans, to the 2023 Canadian Ultimate Championships, the senior phase of our tournament, the first game that will be on the live stream, the second time slot of the tournament, but our first stream game here for the senior adult phase of the tournament. We are here in British Columbia, in Surrey, at the Newton Athletic Sports Complex on the traditional territories of the Semiahmoo, Katzie, Kwantlen, Coquitlam, Kaikite, and Tsawwassen First Nations. My name is Clayton Howlett. I'm joined here with Anna Hodgson. We are bringing you a game between Alberta's Remix and Manitoba's Fusion. I've been here all week. I've got to watch a lot of Ultimate. And I mean, you've been here too, but this is really the first adult game we're going to get to see, senior game, I should say, that we're going to get to see in detail. How are you? What are you excited for? How are you feeling?
I'm happy to be here. And I'm Anna Hodgins from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis. I'm excited because I've just come off of coaching some junior programming out here with Alberta and Saskatchewan. And so I'm excited to see Fusion, which is a team from Winnipeg, and we have Remix, which is a team from Edmonton. And I think Remix has a few out-of-province players that are coming from Saskatoon. So those are players that I've played with when I was on the Bunny Thugs team. So I'm looking forward to seeing both teams play hard, and this is their second game of the day.
So we had a chance to talk to both teams ahead of time. Remix is a second-year team, and their first game today was against Traffic. I talked to their coach, and they said it went as expected. They're just, figuring out who their team identity and really nailing down at nationals who they're going to be. This is a big game for them. They say this is the one they want. Fusion had talked to Captain Karen, and she was saying that Karen Hatch, and she was saying that Fusion has been preparing for nationals all season. They've spent a lot of time working, getting ready to peak at this moment. So both teams are ready to go, ready to play. We're going to have Fusion in white pulling from the right of your screen to Remix in dark on the left side. We are just waiting for the official start from the observers. I know a lot of us in league or in our communities or even at national sometimes will start a little bit early, but when we're playing with observers in a stream game, you have to wait for that start horn, and there it goes. Remix has their hand up, and Fusion with the pull. It's a low pull. It's going to land at the brick mark. Quickly fielded by Remix. Remix electing to start with a vertical offense, but lots of horizontal space to get open, finding some quick up the line cuts, but that's out of the reach of Vanderlyn, one of Remix's quick handlers, and falls into the hands of Brudney. Brudney puts that up to Gillis, but there's a pick call now. Not sure if Gillis and her check were involved in that pick call, so if it doesn't affect, that will stay with Gillis. Observer Alan Bagish just making sure he's getting the context from the players right now to make sure everybody's in the right place.
The wind has not been a factor yet. It's pretty quiet. The flags are showing just a little bit of a breeze, but it's just a hot.
But as we've seen this week, I don't know if it's a Surrey thing, but the day starts calm, and by the end of the day, it gets quite gusty and breezy, a little swilly in this showcase area. So this is a good time to be playing if you like to play some big hot bomb ultimate rather than playing a lot of zone. So it looks like we're good. Gillis is going to keep the disc and tapped in. 2 Fusion players deep. Remix quickly snapping down on that to take away any options. Burridge has Brudney. Brudney looking for options. TC player, but more importantly, UVic player. Is able to find Gillis. Gillis with the fake will go back to Brudney. That's ham blocked, but Brudney's still able to field it. Brudney with the hammer over top, but that just bounces out of the hands of Hilland. This throw up in the air, but it's only Remix players in the area, so Bosniak comes down with it. Wang. Open side throw to Fung. Fung looking for a reset. Fusion clamping down on that. Fung will go over the top. Finds Erin Bethune. She is in a little bit of a messy stack, but Remix showing some patience. Fung making a good throw over the top to Bethune there. And I kind of felt that stack in the end zone there was a little frantic. Maybe that's just the jitters of the first game on the stream, or maybe just some miscues. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we both heard from their captains and coaches about just having new players on both teams and having some veteran players who come back to their cities for the summer. So having things start out with a couple possession changes is as expected. And I think as the teams play through the game and through the tournament, their comfort level and confidence will increase.
So that was a good hold, though. I mean, that was the O-line for Remix, if they have an O-line. I've actually been learning some teams are just doing line A and B, but I mean, getting that offensive hold, usually you have your players that are really confident with the disc. I got a chance to watch Remix earlier, and I'm pretty excited to watch Eden Vanderland was just shredding in the backfield with some really janky cuts. And I know Fung is a really confident player with the disc, and she just showed that on that point. This pull is up, and it's going to sail out of bounds. Millie Wright's going to pick that up. Millie Wright's father, Dean Wright, the competition for juniors, came over and let me know that I have to highlight her like crazy. So, Millie, you can thank your dad for that. Millie finds an undercut to Hatch. Hatch will air that out. Ladyman able to find lots of room. And Hatch's throw starting on the open side and then fading to the break side. And that's a really hard huck to cover if you're the defender.
Yeah, the defender was trailing from the start of the sprint, and the Frisbee was falling away from the offensive player who was chasing it down. So what you're hoping for is just to have pressure on the player, chase him as hard as you can, and perhaps there'd be an unforced error with the receiver, but that's definitely not the case. The receiver was confident with the catch, and it was a great connection and a great throw from the handler.
Yeah, it was from Hatch. And Hatch, a captain on this team, involved in a lot of coaching with Team Canada, really confident out there. And, just a really clean offense from Fusion on that point. Like I was kind of saying earlier, I felt Remix was a little frantic, but, Fusion's offense there was just easy. They didn't really seem to have any issues with that. So Remix is going to put their O-line, I believe, back out there. And we've only seen one match defense look from Fusion. I did see them throw a flat zone earlier. Like you said, the conditions aren't too windy or anything. So I am curious to see if we are going to see a zone defense or if teams are just going to stick with match here. Burgess pole landing at the brick mark. Fielded by Amanda Ho. Vanderlyn finds an open player, gets it right back, showing that speed she demonstrated in her first game. Some give-go from Remix just outside the end zone. Tian looking for help. Vanderlyn is there. Vanderlyn looking off, no one back. Someone does come back off the front of the stack to help her out. Bosniak gets it, flips it to Wong. And you know what I love, Anna? Hand signals.
Give us a hand signal.
Yeah, it is tough right now. I was just looking at my clipboard. I'm not sure what the call was. Fans on the stream, I hope you saw it, but there is an observer ruling, and it was ruled a pick by Alan Baggish. Thank you, Remix players on the sideline. Help me out over here. Fish there to help me out. Appreciate it. So that will go back to Bosniak. But a Remix in great position. Finds Wong. Wong isolating. Instead goes back to Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn puts a big around throw, but it is not leading enough to Amanda Ho, and Fusion is able to get that run through D. Caitlin Cho in the area to make that play. That big huck will go up to Brudney. She is quick and runs that down, looking for options, looking upfield. She is going to go for a big floaty back and around, not quite in for Sims. And Sims will put an OI flick over the top to, I believe that was Emily Cho, for the first break of the game. And now Fusion leading 2-1.
So that was a quick turn, and the handler put it out to a striking player who did the same thing again. So they were hoping to score immediately after that possession change, and that's the start of how some momentum swings can go with Frisbee. So as the game is sometimes point for point with teams who have perfect offense, and when the grinding defense who's laying out for stuff and hungry to shut down the plays, they're the ones who are earning the turnover and then rewarded with a point if they're able to convert it. So that was awesome.
And that bookends D by Cho. I mean, showing that hunger, getting that run through D in the end zone, and then going ends to ends. I didn't see any bunny ears. I know you'd like to see that, the bookend bunny ears. You get that D, you run it all the way back to the end zone. Didn't see that. But Remix's offense, I felt, was doing great. Vanderlyn had resets all day. Ho came out of the stack with great timing. It was just a small execution error, especially when you're playing a fast team like Fusion, that you have to throw leading passes. If your receiver is going to have to stop, you can expect that hunger that you're talking about, Anna, to express itself with it. And the defense is going to run through and get that D. So, that might be a little bit of a lesson, you could say, to Remix right there. Had it, and just not putting the disc out there enough to make sure that the defense's hunger couldn't chomp on that throw.
Yeah, I think they know leading passes and running to the disc, and they showed great patience on the end zone line and reset it a few times. So we'll hope to see their patience continue and get back on serve.
The Fusion sideline presence is just buzzing. They are happy. They are loving it. They're excited. They have been prepping for this all year. You've got who I've turned Spicy and Baller here just celebrating. But Fusion looking very happy on the sideline right now. Ho will pick up to Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn finds Tian, finding holes and elevating to make that grab. And then resetting to Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn moves that around immediately. Wang puts that out to space to Fung. Fung's got a few receivers. Vanderlyn looking for options. We've got a lot of movement. Now a little bit more for looking for a disciplined reset to Fung. And once again, another throw to an open Amanda Ho, but it not leading enough. And Fusion is able to run through and get that D. And now they set up in their vertical. Cho looking for options. A great triple cut by the Fusion cutter, but gets looked off. Jade Sharp working hard out there. Cho. Resets to Freeling. Freeling's throw, a little bit of a miscue. I don't think Clayson knew that was for her. And Remix takes advantage of kind of the disorganization of Fusion on that turnover and gets it moving right away. Fung and Vanderlyn working together. Ho, close to the sideline, keeps her toes in. Fung goes up the line. Ho puts it out. It's a Blady throw that will hang. And Remix able to get that hold with a good heads-up play by Tian to bring in that goal. Anna, I think there at first I was feeling Remix's end zone was sort of disorganized, and then they kind of really fell into some disciplined cutting, looking upfield for just 4 stalls, then looking for a reset, finding someone coming out of the stack. What did you notice in that?
Yeah, I saw from the start they were in a set play with horizontal, and they looked for their deep look, and it was shut down, so they came under for a cut. And that's just great decision making from Remix to value the disc and to keep possession. And once they were able to transition into the end zone, they were able to swing it and basically repeat the same throw that previously was a knockdown. So it's good that they still hold the confidence to make those throws, because those are the ones they need to score the points. So yeah, that was excellent.
So a hold there to stop Fusion's break train. Now we're at a score of 2-2, but Fusion is up a break. So Fusion does have the advantage right now, as they'll have a chance to go up. Gobert. Centers to right. Right finds Valence Arena, and she'll air that out to Jacobson. Jacobson's throw is going to hang, but Bannister elevates to bring that down. You see Jacobson going right over to give her a high five and perhaps a thank you for saving me. But that fun combination of Jolie Spicy, I've been told, Valence Arena, to Sarah the Baller Jacobson. They had a good partnership on the sideline, keeping the spirit up, and then they go right on the field and just connect like that. You love to see that sort of chemistry on a team. Yeah, the chemistry is it can't be taught. It's got to be earned with experience and with trust with each other. And so it's great to have your teammates be your friends. And with the community in Winnipeg, it's such a large community, but the development that their program has come from with the junior programs that many of these players are on into senior Frisbee. Perhaps many of these players have been growing up together as well, and so they just have long time friendships and teammates, so they know where each other are going, and maybe not as much needs to be said because they read each other's body cues. So yeah, like you say, you can't teach that, right? That is just reps and experience. The Manitoba Junior program, now known as Team Manitoba, formerly known as the Masters of Flying Objects, but Team Manitoba now, a long-standing program, and a lot of these Fusion players have come from that program. So, a long time to develop that chemistry.
Yeah.
All right, Fusion's pull. Landing out about the brick mark. Ho will pick up. Flips to Vanderlyn right away. Vertical set here from Remix. Chun looking for options, looks off the upper line cut, but from the back of the stack, finds Bosniak. Bosniak looking for a reset to Vanderlyn, gets the around. And that stack moving up, doing a good job of moving up, not to strand Vanderlyn. And a little bit of a janky cut from Wang, but Wang fights through it to get the reset and quickly fits it up to Bethune. Bethune resets that to an outstretching Wang, but Wang's throw a little too low and blady for Ho to grab. Brudney will pick up. A great jab step cut from Sims. And while there was a collision with Vanderlyn, everybody paused just to see if there would be a call, but no call. Anna, so I want to tell you something. I feel old, and here's why. That cut made by Avery Sims, we're seeing this popular kind of hip swing, drop, jab, step, cut. I don't know the right name for it, okay? That's why I'm old, and I never learned to do it. But what we see a lot of players developing now is where they'll start in a jog. They'll kick out both their feet to the outside, almost as if they're going to, go down into a side split. But instead, they only go a little of the ways, their hips drop, and they swivel their hips to kind of fool their check into where they're going, and they immediately have a foot to push off of so hard. And it is such a quick way to get open and get down into a running stance. You're dropping into your hips already being opened up and your legs already extended. And Sims just made a textbook example of that cut. And the other reason I'm old is just I've tried it. I look dumb doing it, and I can't figure it out.
Takes a lot of fast twitch muscles to make that movement happen and to have it be believable that your defensive player is caught off and you're able to accelerate and go to the end zone to finish that cut successfully.
So Fusion's pole will hang this time. Ganley finds Fish. Fish looking for options. Resets to Bennett. Bennett up the line to Yates. Yates looking for a reset. Good low break to Ganley. Kind of a deep stack from Remix right now. The cuts are coming. The speed is there, but sometimes a little late in the stall count. That throw, not the intended target. But Ursenbach makes an athletic play to grab that. Bennett doesn't like the around to Fish. Looks off her first dump. Now she's got a free reset behind to Ganley. Ganley's screaming for who is going to the break side. I'm in the great position to hit that. So the timing a little bit off for Remix, and Bennett's throw low. Turf's in the ground. Fusion, an immediate pickup. And Jack to Cho. Cho having no problem getting position on that throw from Burridge. Cho to Rusin. Burridge. The kind of inside throw to an outside space. What execution there did you see there?
Well, there wasn't enough angle on the disc to properly fly into the space. That's a tough throw to throw kind of into a bit of a breeze.
So now Remix with another chance. And Bennett is looking for cuts. And I can hear the Remix sideline. Where are the cuts? Where are the cuts? They're in a vertical stack where there's a pick. So Fish is going to send that back. Sam Burridge is going to catch up. And Stahl coming in at 6. Remix going to need a quick look here. And they find it. Yates airs that out. But overall, the heads, Kapachowski just unable to make up the ground on that laser. And Burridge will jog back to pick it up. Haven't had too much of a chance to see these offensive looks from Fusion. We've seen it briefly. So we're seeing a vertical stack. They've been coming off the back pretty hard, and they do again. But finds an easy front of the stack reset to Rusin. Airs that out to Sims. Sims with the flick break. Finds Burridge, who airs it out. Who not quite in to Fradkoff. Clayson there for the quick reset, and that pitches that out to Caitlin Cho.
So once Fusion has created a turnover, they on offense are now moving the disc to just about half, and then they want to send it deep to a receiver just in front of the end zone, or maybe more preferably in the end zone for the point. But they're doing just a quick pass and then trying to go long. So they're pretty comfortable with a mid-range huck, and they're successfully reading the disc to catch it, and they're a step ahead of their defender because of the turnover. They've created a bit of space on the turn, so they're recognizing the deepest player there to continue on cutting so that they can gain a lot of yards in a short amount of time.
You know, with what you're saying, it's got me thinking. What I've noticed with Fusion here is their hucks are for completion, not necessarily for goal, right? I mean, that is something that we love to teach as coaches, that if you have a team where you can pick up the disc and grip it and rip it as hard as you want, and they're always going to run it down, well, then you're on a really good, fast team, right? But when you have a receiver that's maybe starting from quite shallow, the conditions are adverse, or maybe it's been a long point and they're tired. When you have to make hucks, you have to throw for completion. So like you say, Anna, like, yeah, it's great to get the disc in the end zone, but all of Fusion's hucks so far have been in the hands of the receiver, no matter where they are. Bredney's pull will stay inbound, floats a little while. Remix falling into their vertical offense again. Vanderlyn finds Bethune. Flips it over to Ho and back to Vanderlyn. Timing on the cuts, great from Bethune. There was someone there right away. Vanderlyn. Great grab by Tian there on the offside of her shoulder. Fong. Vanderlyn with the jab step doesn't quite work out. Fong will air out that OI flick to someone moving in the other direction. A very hard pass to complete. Sharp doing a lot of great cutting in the middle there. Instead elected to go to Doria, but Grimard runs through that and gets the D, and as Vanderlyn picks up, finds Bethune. Bethune with the over-the-top backhand to Fong, not quite in, but she can easily flip that around to Tian for the goal. The score, Fusion Remix 3.
Yeah, those high release throws are still viable throws with this low wind. So those cheeky throws can sometimes catch a defender off guard because they're staying low, staying athletic, moving side to side, anticipating what's being shown with the thrower. And if you've got the high release and you use it kind of infrequently, it's the surprise that the defender isn't going to see, and then you can convert with it.
You know, we actually talked about this a lot during the junior tournament on the broadcast, was throwing choices, like which throw to choose and everything. And so we saw some like over the tops, kind of with the offhand or floaty over the top of the mark. We've seen a hammer, you know. At this level, I'm thinking if that is a throw that you make consistently, no reason you shouldn't go for it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you've got to know, you have to have discernment with that throw and know the speed of the defender for who the receiver is for that throw, if they are bitty or if they are quickie, because that throw it's a slower kind of throw that happens, but if it's in your toolbox, it's yours.
Yates' pull coming down to the brick, fielded by Wright and flipped to Gobert. Valencerina will put that out to Jacobson. Oh, but a great box out by Jaden Martin. Haven't seen her on the stats yet, but makes a huge play against the big Jacobson. That hook, a little unappetizing. And on the under, Gobert is able to run through that to get the D. Hatch now looking for options, sees Jacobson going around. Jacobson turns on the wheels to make that grab. Jacobson finds guess who, Valencerina to Hatch. Valencerina with the wheels up the line. Looks off the first option. Likes to go a reset to Millie Wright to Jacobson. Jacobson looking for options. I feel like it's going to be Valencerina. No, instead finds hard work by Hatch out of the stack to save that reset at the high stall count. And Fusion with the hold, the score 6-3.
Yeah, she was patient to the point where she'd be almost ready to reset there. And the cut came very clear from the back, and she came up at the 45-degree angle to the front cone. So she was ahead of her player. Her player was chasing. And that's the best place you want to be on offense, is defense having to react and chase and be one step behind you, because on offense, you're the decision maker. You know where you're going. So you make...
Well, I mean, most of the time. Sorry.
Most of the time. So, yeah, that's an experienced thrower waiting for the cutter to come through and complete the point.
It's been a pretty clean game so far, I would say. We've seen the observers kind of make one ruling on a pick, and it was pretty chill energy, if you will. But really haven't needed Ellen Bagish and Sandra Hansen to get involved, but they're always ready to. You have seen, though, and I'll just put this out there, we have seen on every call the observers walking up immediately to the discussion. And I just want to remind everybody that that's not to insert themselves and make them part of the game. Instead, they love to be within earshot so that if they are asked for any ruling, they understand the context and perspectives of the situations. This pull, fielded by Amanda Ho. She'll flip that to Vanderlyn. We're seeing a different look now. Horizontal offense with the tree play by Remix. And they get that back to Ho. Bosniak, the first look on that play. Vanderlyn gets it. She'll pitch that out to Bosniak, but that throw is too low. And I believe that was Shannon Clayson with the D. No, excuse me. Megan Gillis with the D. Brudney signaling that she wants the reset to Rusin. And that's off the fingers of Kirsten Hilland, and right away she knew she wanted that one back. Rusin setting up a big mark against Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn's fakes are really working, and she's getting a lot of space to work. That throw, though, once again, more at the target instead of ahead of it. And Lauren Waldman is able to get that run through D. We've seen that trend on Remix today, not leading the passers enough, and Fusion just snacking on those. Burridge. Brudney working hard up the line, bids out, but Erin Bethune did a great job of bodying Brudney out of that lane. Vanderlyn looking for options, says no, look for Amanda Ho. Amanda Ho pointing to her left for the backwards reset, gets it. Vanderlyn takes off. I love that give go. Wild now on the other side, the fourth side of the field, still gets a lot of yards. Opens up Bethune, who will throw a deep shot, and Tiana's just able to run that down and keep it in. That fence was coming up fast, but Tian with the Jets.
Yeah, that's a great completion for Remix with a half-field huck. So they've been looking for some of those and faking some of those. So it's great to see a completion with one. And Yeah, it came from a switch on the field with the give-go between the two handlers as they've been running for most of the game. We did see a little bit of horizontal set play to initiate the point. But yeah, that's excellent.
So once again, we've just been saying the conditions here have been really calm. I'm just taking a gander at the temperature, and 24 degrees feels like 28 here, which is a lot less than what it was the last few days. Yesterday, we were just teetering on the limit of our Humindex where we'd be allowed to play.
37.5.
Yeah, and we just stayed below that, luckily. But very hot the last few days. Seems to be a little bit chillier this morning, but it's chillier, less hot. But it's only 11:02 in the morning, and the wind may make an appearance, and it may get far warmer. This pull by Remix hangs for quite a while, landing in front of the brick. Remix able to get their D on right away. We're seeing a split stack play here from Fusion, and it seems a little bit of blown coverage and a bidding. Laura Ladyman isn't able to keep that Air Canada play alive. Yates finds Ganley. Yates through some contact puts that up. It seems the contact did not impede her, so no call is made. Millie Wright will pick up. She'll find Hatch. Hatch looking for Valencerina. Her triple cut doesn't work out. She comes back under, though, and gets the disc. Valencerina finds Gobert. Back to Valencerina. Valencerina saying, Gillis, get out. And Jaden Martin, seeing this all develop, her second D of the game, is able to read that play and make a big play for her team. Ganley puts that out around to Yates. Vertical stack, sort of deep. Bounces off the hands of Ursenbach, even though she was open. Valencerina is going to put up an OI flick. Fielded well by Bannister. And into the hands of Hilland.
So there was a couple possession changes on that point, and some of the unforced errors that came through were just maybe thrower errors, and the Ds are able to shut that down with a knockdown and turn around and try to play some offense. So I think both teams have some similar ideas with their offense wanting to be a vertical with some shortcut leading to a huck.
I've kind of feeling like I know I want there's something that Remix did last point, but there's one particular adjustment that I really want to see. What would you say is like the biggest adjustment that you want to see out of Remix right now?
Out of Remix, like what I want to see is some like tenacity to go to the disc and want to be a receiver for the disc. So it's that hungry, confident offense, and it's slight adjustments can be like the angle that you're coming in at, just adjusting it slightly towards the thrower. The point at which you turn to clear. So maybe you need to take one or two more steps in your cut to show that handler, give me the disc. I've got my person beat.
Couldn't agree more. That's the run through that the handlers, I would say, can help them out a little bit too by just putting it out to more space. But that's what we've seen is Fusion just winning those one-on-one races to the disc. Ho picks up to Vanderlyn. Vertical offense, bit of a flood. They find Bosniak. Ho setting up an easy reset cut for Bosniak, but that throw is a bit out farther, but Ho hits the ground to keep that alive. Vanderlyn with a backhand break to Bethune. There is a pick call, and the players seem to be signaling that everything's fine, so it looks like Bethune will get to keep that. Vanderlyn. Found Grimard, and her pass defended. Once again, seeing kind of the same trend. So that's Emily Cho with the D. Looking for options, but Fusion's able to work through it, even though they seem to be stifled a little bit with options on that one. But good speed shown to keep moving the disc forwards. Cho has Gillis, and Gillis just off her hands in the clap catch. And I see you put your hands on your head, pursed lips. You're just like, oof. You know everybody wants that one back.
Yeah.
Vanderlyn will pick up. Oh, goes to Ho. That pass just a little too far out in front this time. And Ho making the athletic play, but unable to hold on to it as she hits the ground. Sims finds Clayson. Puts that out to Rusin. And Rusin's going to air that out. And it's just a bit too far for Clayson, but
fair enough. The layout on a turf can be quite consequential.
It's not forgiving.
It burns.
So Vanderlyn, a lot of upfield space. And that's foot blocked by Rusin, giving herself the little fist pump. I mean, foot blocking the team's arguably best handler. That's got to feel good. Oh, but a miscommunication, but Cho is there to save it. That's Caitlin Cho with the save after that miscommunication, people going in different directions at the start. So that is halftime. The score is 8-4 for Fusion. Two differences I'll say before we go into half here from our junior tournament. If your junior phase of the tournament, if you were following along earlier in the week, junior phase, the half times were 4 minutes, 5. Thank you, Sandra Hansen, passing by 5 minutes for our senior division halves are 8. So we'll be back with you in about 7 to 8 minutes here. And I will just say that the cap rules for this tournament are a little bit different. In this phase of the tournament, you have to score to win. So there is no hard cap until we get to finals. In every other game, it's a soft cap. If we do hit soft cap, you'll be adding 1 to the highest score and playing to that. So for most of this tournament, you have to score to win. So we'll rejoin you in about 7 minutes. Go get your coffee. Go let your dog out. Go make sure your boss can't see that you've got this tab open to watch the stream while you're watching. We'll be back with you shortly. Welcome back, Ultimate fans, to our first streamed match of the Canadian Ultimate Championship senior phase of the 2023 tournament. Today, we're bringing you a match between Winnipeg's Fusion and Edmonton's Remix. Fusion currently leading 8-4. I just want to take this opportunity to point out that this is a gorgeous turf field with a lot of chance or a lot of places to sit and view. You can be in the shade, you can be in the heat, you can be in the shade. You should probably be in the shade, but I also just want to highlight that this field is, our BE apparel showcase field and also our Discraft showcase field. Those two sponsors, BE doing all the apparel for this tournament. They have a big merch tent that you can go buy your swag. You can also go online and look at their inventory. And then Discraft, a rather important sponsor, supplying us with some key equipment for this tournament. That would be the game discs. And if you go around to most teams, they've got 20 to 30 extra discs to practice with, usually from Discraft. So big sponsor there too. So we're about to get the second half started. Anna, we talked about a lot of the strategy that we saw in the first half. What is your key thing maybe you're looking from Remix to start on offense here?
From Remix?
Oh, excuse me, to start on defense.
Okay. From Remix, I think obviously they'd like to play shutdown D and generate some forced errors to Fusion. They're seeded similarly. So these are two Prairie teams, and we have Remix seeded as 9 and Fusion is seeded as 7.
Yeah.
And so let's see if we can get some D hustle from Remix to start their comeback.
Vertical set from Fusion to Valence Arena, goes to Jacobson. Jacobson's foot is out of bounds. Sandra Hansen making that call on the sideline. The observers in this tournament make active in and out calls. So that Hansen was standing right on the line, saw that Jacobson's first point of contact was out of bounds. So Remix with chance with the break here. They'll move that up the line, but that throw a little too far for Ganley. Millie Wright will come to pick up. Jacobson at the back of the stack. Instead, they elect to go to a handler up the line right away. Valence Arena goes for the reset. Fish is almost there to make the D, but what good placement, and Valence Arena is able to flip that up to Hatch, finds Jacobson, flips that out to Valence Arena. The Jacobson-Valence Arena partnership, I am loving this. They are working so hard together. Valence Arena working to get open for Jacobson. It's not quite there. That's grabbed by Taryn Steinck. She finds Jacobson, who goes to Wright, but it looks like Wright's check was picked. Wright will send that back. Aaron Bethune making that call. I'm hearing stay out Millie, so Wright will probably come back as a reset. Well, Valence Arena and Jacobson. Jacobson takes off right away. Valence Arena flips it to Jacobson, who climbs the ladder to get that grab. And I'm getting a little too excited about those two players playing together. That's awesome.
They are BFFs. You can see the quick passing that they can so confidently exchange with each other. They're playing a little bit of hot potato Frisbee close to the end zone until it got shut down, and then they did some swing with the disc. But you can really tell that they have played, just that they've played together for a long time, and so it's cheeky, and they celebrate it, and that's awesome.
I also love how you've got two players, one who's of a smaller stature and is just so quick and just burning through the lanes, making those resets, those up the lines. And then you've got Jacobson, who can just post up. And it's those two, because, quite a tall stature. And then you put these players as, the tag team duo to get things done. And that basically gives you everything, and they can just sort of play by themselves.
Yeah, they can play low, they can play high, and so yeah.
Burgess pole hangs a little bit. The wind is picking up, but it doesn't matter. Ho fields that to Vanderlyn. We've got a zone slough look to stop that first play, and then Fusion melts immediately into a match defense. Ho finds Wang, flips it to Fung, back to Ho. Ho looking for options, not really enjoying those looks. Instead, airs it out in a high stall count. And Burridge posts up to take that away, and her pass is just a little too far, but it looks like there was a foul on the throw. No real dispute by Grimmard. Oh, hey, hand signals. Awesome. So Burridge signaling with the hands out after the call usually means no contest. Alan Baggish in there to make sure that the call is correct, as Burridge actually signaled contest and then no contest, so it was a little confusing. Looks like a quick injury sub for Freeling out there, as Doria comes in for her. No, excuse me, it's Correa comes in for her. Bredney has a free Correa around. Bredney wants it back. Finds Cho. Cho with the inside break to Sims. Finds Sharp. Sharp looking off some options, goes to reset. Finds Bredney. Sharp comes right back as a reset. Bredney elects to stay going upfield. Finds Sims. Back to Bredney. A lot of discipline from Fusion right now. Not really forcing the disc up the field, looking for resets, but now running out of time. Bredney needs an option. And Anna, it's got to be every time I say a lot of discipline or a lot of chill, something will happen, although we have a call. And it's a stall down, or a stall, I should say. Uncontested. I mean, it's going to result in a turnover. The disc in better position if it does stay with Bredney, which it does. So that is a good call to stick with, even though it was a turnover, as the disc is in a better position. And Vanderlyn will pick up. Vanderlyn looking for a reset to Ho. Ho turns on the Jets and is able to get it close to the stack, but she fields it. Looking for Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn has that quick jab step. She's been showing that off all day. Finds Grimmard. Vanderlyn. Has Tian. Vanderlyn. Oh, that's just out of the reach of Wang. And I've got that little groan because I'm just like, they did so much work to earn that. And then just a small, tiny execution error at the end. You hate to see it.
Yeah, a lot of the offense is going through Vanderland.
But they'll get another chance here, as that pass from Bethune just didn't have enough muster behind it, and it hits the ground pretty quickly. Ho centering to Vanderlyn. Lots of cuts out of the stack. Everybody moving. Hard to find some options. But Wong stays in the area, gets it back to Vanderlyn. Off the hands of Wong. Bredney picking up, looking at some huck looks, but it's not there. Asking for someone to come under. Has Sharp. Sharp looking off Bredney. Finds an IO shot to Emily Cho. Bethune to Bredney. That pass to Caitlin Cho gives Fusion the 6-point lead. The score 10-4.
Yeah, that was clean offense to move the disc back or up the field to score, and the disciplined cuts are they have a bit more space that they're getting between themselves and the remix players, and so I think the thrower can see there's just a more open player than the remix players are able to get, and so Fusion is having higher confidence with their throws, and the continuation of play is happening more for them than it is for the remix players.
And I would say it's probably coming down to discipline, right? I mean, Fusion has ran a vertical stack the whole game. Remix has ran a vertical stack most of the time. And when you look at the style of both those offenses, Fusion, discipline. One person at a time, win your one-on-ones. If you don't like it, reset. Remix, lots of people moving. That stack, yeah, kind of turns into a washing machine cycle pretty quickly. And you're seeing that those handlers aren't really having a lot of options. And like players like Amanda Ho and Vanderlyn just trying to go back and forth a lot because they're not really seeing those upfield options develop too much because everybody's moving. So many options, so much traffic. Fusion's ball will land down at the brick mark. And this is flipped to Bennett. Finds Yates. Seeing this, well, person defense, but a little sluffy. Rich gets that to Ursenbach. Ursenbach looking for an option, finds Bennett. Bennett looks off that around. There's a pick call downfield. Just waiting for a resolution there. It does look like Kirsten Hilland at the front of the Fusion stack is wide open. But everybody pointing at each other, trying to figure out where everybody should be. But observer Sandra Henson going in there to help move people around, put the pieces back where they were.
I'd like to see Remix open up the field with the swing as opposed to throwing it as a fake. The play on the field has been more on the home side of the field, and for Remix to swing the Frisbee, to have a break cut come out of the stack if it's from the back, that will create the chasing defense from Fusion and the greater space for Remix to more confidently throw to each other. Playing tic-tac-toe on one side is just using part of the field.
Exactly. It's a small pocket to get open in. But now we're seeing Remix try and work it to the break side. Boucher up the line. Yates going for a reset now. Bennett sticking with her. Too much traffic there, but that was kind of some friendly fire. Everybody gets back up and we're okay. Yates looking for Bennett, sticks with her. I like the way she sticks with her so Bennett can get that right around. And that is the break, Anna, you were talking about that they need to get. Now Remix is rolling. Martin to Yates, to Bennett. Yates doing a lot of work at the front here with Bennett. Very reliable reset for this line. But that is thrown away. A pick was called downfield. It won't matter. Unless Yates says, I acknowledge the pick, and that threw me off. No, I don't think you can do that. So to me, this is a turnover as she did pass to Bennett. It was the first pass after the pick was called, so that pass is live. Yates and Bennett, neither one seem to acknowledge the pick. But, it's very easy for me to sit here and say how the rules and how everything should work as I have a microphone and no one else can talk back to me except for you.
That's true. We're kind of game masters alongside the observers who see the game from the outside. as the players have their own perspective of what's happening out there.
So it is a turnover. Freeling picks up. Looking for Roussen going up the line. Roussen bringing her check all the way back and then turns on the Jeps up the line. But that pass floats. And the defensive star this game for Remix, Jaden Martin, makes another big play for Remix to keep them in contention. Looking for that break shot. There it is. What we like to see from Remix. Gets that break out to Husband. She flips it to Boucher. Back to Yates. Yates airs that out to an open Rich, but the throw just a little too high.
That's a great idea from Remix, and sticking with that strategy will open up their game.
I would like to see maybe a small adjustment from Remix right here, where perhaps number 8, Jaden Martin, based on the positions he's in, turning around and trying to stop any upfield things happening in the lanes. But instead with this person, well, I'll just stop talking.
Oh, yeah.
Now, why did I doubt Martin? Defensive plays over and over again. Jaden Martin, thank you for making me eat my words with a huge play and flip to Emily Bennett.
Almost a Callahan.
Almost a Callahan.
Almost a Callahan. So let's hope that energy and excitement for Remix can translate into the next point, because that was awesome.
Should I just take off my headset right now? You got this rest of the game? Don't know what I'm talking about. Man, Jaden Martin, if you watch this stream later, that was fantastic. Great defense. So score now, 10-5.
Both teams are feeling the handler cut needs to have some support with the front of the vertical stack coming back as a bailout dump. So the up the line cuts, the double cut up the line and back is beginning to be more anticipated, shut down quicker. So while there's 2 kind of primary handlers with vertical, the third early recognition to come back as the bailout is becoming more important. And I think I see it opening the field more with a continuation cut on that side.
And energy-wise, Remix is still in this. And with no hard cap, while the 5-point lead, was a tough one to come back from, it's not impossible. But Remix's energy is kind of bubbling up right now while Fusion's is just simmering. So see if Fusion can close this out. I mean, they've had a lot of cold fire, a lot of discipline, right? See Jacobson getting this on the split stack play. Looking for Ladyman. It wasn't there. Flips it back to right. Right to Valencerina. And has a very, very wide open Gobert, probably because there was a pick call. Often when we see this, it's like, how'd you get that open at this level? And yeah, Ganley, I should say, was indeed picked. So she'll catch up. Valencerina, spicy, finds the around to right. Puts it out to Jacobson. Jacobson so fast, tall, able to get that before it goes out of bounds. Finds right back in the middle, kind of a deep vertical from Fusion, but it's working for them. They're getting options, but that pass just goes over the hands of Doria. Ganley puts that out for Bosniak. Bosniak punches that up the line to Wiskel. Wiskel gets that around to Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn getting it back in the middle of the field, using all that space like you've said, Anna. Good adjustment there as it was stuck on the sideline. Vanderlyn finds Wiskel. And, well, we'll see how this ends up. I want to highlight Wiskel right now. Haven't seen her on the field yet, and suddenly coming through on offense for Remix here. Remix a chance for a break to bring this game within 4. Looks like there could have been a pick call. So Wiskel will keep it. This seemingly 2-yard offense from Remix has had a few execution errors today. Vanderlyn now pivot point, a good choice. so that Fung can get open, but there is another pick call by Valencerina. Coach Nigel Greenways just going up and down and up and down. A little bit of an emotional roller coaster for him this point. He wants to get this break. So Wright with a good reenactment, which Danny and I were talking the other day. It's actually, I kind of like it when the players show, this is where I was and this is what happened. As when you're tired, you got your adrenaline, you got your emotions. Sometimes kind of hard to communicate what you mean.
But it's in the spirit of the game to stay and play within the rules. And so player integrity is extremely important. And as they catch a breath and then are able to explain their perspective, the two players involved can come to a conclusion for the call.
So this stays with Wiskel. Fung comes out for the reset. Looks for Vanderlyn. Vanderlyn so fast. Always a dependable bail. Goes back to Fung. Fung will put that out for Wiskel. What is up? Caitlin Wiskel walking on the field, taking over, getting Remix their first break of the game that brings the game within 4. And like I said, the time, not the same sort of factor it was in the junior phase of our tournament. Fusion getting broken, takes a time out.
So the Remix team has been close in the end zone for a couple plays despite 2 pick calls, and they were able to retain possession and complete that point. The patience needed from the stack to cut with confidence and be clear about it, as opposed to the frantic responsive cuts is so important, and that comes with experience, as we know both teams are in their second year, I believe. So I saw it a lot with the juniors. As one player makes a great cut, they think they could maybe cut off of their own cut and then cut off of their third cut. And it doesn't often work well with that, because with the high percentage throws going to planned, purposeful cuts, those are the ones that you want to look for when you're so close to the end zone.
And that's the key, right? Planned and purposeful, not panic and heroes, right? Don't be the hero until it's your turn. Right? Have the plan for when you are going to be in the hot seat. And we're seeing that adjustment here from Remix in the second half. I had asked you out of the second half, what do we need to see here? And that's what I wanted to see. A lot more discipline, right? Planned and purposeful. So Yates will be pulling this for Remix. We're about 20 minutes away from the soft cap, where 1 is added to the highest score, and it's game to that. Remix started this half down 6. They're now within 4. They're figuring some stuff out. They've got some energy. They've got their heads up. We see a player that hadn't really seen the field come out and take over. So all personnel for Remix still ready to play, but Fusion has showed us a lot of discipline, and we see some kind of a power line come out here with Wright and Hatch, Jacobson, Ference Arena. Laura Lademan takes off, but that's looked off. Jacobson goes around to Hatch. Balance Arena. Jacobson is long gone, and so is Bannister. Jacobson there with the second effort. Always good to be in the area. Didn't cause her own teammate any distress. Instead, backed off of Bannister's play on that disc. Gave her that one-on-one chance, and when it didn't work out, she was there to save any result. Jacobson's cut there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Eat my dust, everybody.
She came from half, and while she saw her bestie player on the other side and the Frisbee got to her, she took off sprinting.
Bestie player, is that a thing? Is that okay? It's going to have to be a thing for Fusion.
Yeah.
Right?
and they should play into it. So yeah, she took off from half and sprinted to be one of the eligible players to receive the disc, and that's what best friends do.
That's what best friends do. So Fusion extends that lead back out to 5. They are now at 11. The game is currently the games are played to 15 unless that cap goes on. But if we get first team to 15, we'll win. Unless that soft cap brings us to a lower score.
I believe Remix and Fusion could have met each other in Regina at a tournament in July for a first seeing of each other. Because the Prairie Provinces, while we're
windy,
while we're windy, we also have to drive to each other to play good Frisbee, and these teams are so competitive with each other, so I hope they would have gotten to have played then.
Vanderlyn. Fine. Oh, seems to take a little hop, skip, and a jump. And that is an injury call. Vanderlyn will have to sub. As if you're not familiar with the way the injury rule works, if you call an injury because maybe you just twist your ankle a bit, I mean, Vanderlyn walking off her own power there, that's great to see. You don't want to see her on the ground, right? But if you call an injury and it's not as the result of an opposing player, like it's not as if, Gillis kicked her feet out or anything, you have to take a substitution. If it is the result of contact with an opponent, you actually don't. So Wang comes in, finds Bethune. And out to the sideline to Wong. Like to see Remix get it off that sideline. This is where they've had success. Wang has to go back to get it, and then goes back to Wong in the middle. This is business. Good business area to get the end zone done for Remix. Keep it in the middle. Bethune does just that. Wong looking for options. Finds Chan. Chelsea Grimard comes underneath. Looks off the dump to Wong. Will flip it to Wang. That throw on the inside shoulder instead of leading on the outside is dropped. Wang's momentum carrying her too far. Brudney's able to run down that long throw. Huck for a completion. Caitlin Cho with the disc. Goes up the line to Brudney. Gillis turning on the Jets. And gets the goal. So a break for Fusion. The score 12-6.
So it's so important as a thrower to be leading the receiver, especially when there is a handler dump that's the intended receiver. The angle that the disc is flying, the shoulder that they throw it to, all of that can really impact if there is a turnover or not.
Hey, I'm back. Did a little field reporting there, and my intrepid reporting journalism skills have informed me that Caitlin and Emily Cho are in fact sisters, not twins, but sisters. So we've got number 8 Emily Cho playing and number 10 Caitlin Cho playing. So C Cho and E Cho, and they've both actually made quite a showing in this game.
I wonder who's older.
See, I'm not that great of a journalist. Need to work on that. But, a lot of speed on that point. Brudney and Gillis turning on the Jeps. Brudney getting that big long under and then getting some big resets. And Gillis making another one of those quick jab step cuts where she's just suddenly at full speed and you don't really know what happened. So, that 6-point lead now. Once again, this is where we started half. Fusion kind of back on top of where they started the second half. Burgess pull. Lands pretty deep. Picked up by Bennett. Remix looking for options. Ganley will get it back to Bennett. Yates. Ganley. Yates has a cut. Good pressure by Fusion, but Husband sticks with it. Flips it up to Ganley. She'll air that out to the back of the end zone. And a huge athletic grab by Wiskel through contact. Given respect by her check as well. Really great check, or grab that is, by Caitlin Wiskel. Suddenly showing up in the second half. Her second goal. Really getting it done for Remix. Remix, take some notes. Get Wiskel out there.
Yeah, her speed is unmatched, and she's hungry for the disc. She's grabbing it, and she's converting because of that.
Yeah. You know, I'm going off about how well Wiskel's playing when we haven't seen her play, right? And I would be remiss to say that that hut from Ganley was pretty great. Out to space. Wiskel didn't have to slow down. She kind of had position on her check the whole time. The only chance her check had was really to, put her body on her, right? And make some contact. So credit to Ganley there with that great toss. And frankly, the rest of that Remix offense for playing that possession-o.
Yeah, they played possession and they swung it. The wind picked up a bit, but the throws were dialed in and it was put out for her to go get it.
Score 12-7. We are 10 minutes outside of the soft cap. Yates with the pull. It's going to bounce. Picked up by Gobert to right. But there is a pick call downfield. And right in her check, work it out. Stalling 4. Millie Wright with the backhand break to Hatch. Hatch, a big thrower for this Fusion team. Gobert, leg cup up the line, but instead it's Jacobson coming back out of the stack. Doesn't like Hatch's cut. Instead goes to flick around that, pops up. But Millie Wright climbing the ladder to bring that down. She looks back to Jacobson. Jacobson with that stutter cut, getting open immediately up the line. Looking for options. Has Wright. Doesn't like it. Instead, from the front of the stack, Manlulu is there to help. She'll go back to Hatch. Jacobson using the speed and a crisp flick out to Gobert. Jacobson. Change of direction so fast. She'll put that out forward to Hatch.
They shared the point.
They shared the point.
They caught it together. Now that is best friendship. I wonder if they have a budding friendship.
Oh,
or
well.
a budding best friendship.
Don't tell Vera and Serena.
I think they literally caught it together.
They might have, yeah.
Who gets the...
Well,
assist?
if
Who
you want to
gets
be
the
friendly,
point?
you
Who
can say
gets-
both. If you want to be like competitive, you can say nobody. 13-7. Now we're kind of looking out there, and Remix has their heads down. Fusion did call that timeout to collect themselves and kind of evaluate where they were at. And now Remix, and in doing so, got some breaks. And now Remix, kind of looking a little deflated right now. It is tough knowing that you have to score 8 points while the other team only has to score 2. Depending when that cap comes, it could be you only need to score 1. So that is a tough space to be in. I did really like Millie Wright playing on that last point. Really good resets, working really hard to make sure that she was always there for the dump. And while Remix takes a timeout, I'll just say Millie comes from the Wright dynasty, if you will. Dean Wright, coaching and running tournaments, coaching the Manitoba program, and then running tournaments since 1998.
Wow.
1998, yeah. And he was also the competitive director for our juniors tournament. So I tried to talk to him during the tournament, and basically it was leave me alone. I have too many emails. But he did a great job with that junior tournament. So many teams to manage. So we'll give him that plug.
Now he gets to be a dad.
Yeah. Watch his daughter play Frisbee. That's real fun.
Yeah, the depth of the Winnipeg team, I think it comes from their fitness and their beautiful throws. They're able to play the full game with the discipline, and that is for sure coming from their coach's instructions to execute their plan, and probably just their training program, because they look very athletic out there, and it's showing. So we'll look for Remix to dig deep and just play point by point.
So that pull will land out in the air. Or did that land in and on the line? Looks like it did land out of bounds, getting the brick signal from Amanda Ho. So she'll bring that to the middle of the field. Arabella Brundy on the mark. A vertical flood, but we see a slough defense here from Fusion to stifle that first play. And usually after they do that, they melt right to match defense, which they do. But in doing so, it does give Bosniak an opportunity, airs it out, and just out of the reach of Wanontian.
I saw a lot of the primary offense go through Bosniak, as she's played for many years and is a confident thrower for them.
Bradney. Hard work from the Fusion offense. Doesn't like some of the looks. Gillis just left out open. Is going to air that out for Emily Cho. Cho with the great rundown.
Perfect.
And that puts Fusion at 14 it is, no matter what, it'll be a game to 15 at this point. 4 minutes left till soft cap, but it won't matter. This is except for our final, it is a score to win format in our senior division. I love that.
We have some adorable dancing from Fusion, celebrating a great play, and their player read the disc very well. She had pressure on her from the Remix defender, but she held her path and took down the disc.
You like to see players, I mean, we're probably going to see it more in the senior division because there's more experience. You do like to see players, even though when they know that they have a check on their shoulder, on their back, or anything like that, first play the disc. Where can they get the disc at the highest apex based on where it is, where they're moving, how fast, what direction, blah, 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 rather than saying, oh, I have a mark, I have to box them out, try and do so, and then actually not be able to touch the disc. So, that showed some experience from Cho there, knowing that she did have to hold that path and get to the disc first before worrying about her check. Hey, look, Valence Arena and Jacobson are on the same line. So with the pull here, it's going to be Hatch. Karen Hatch. That pull turns over onto its outside in edge and sails out of bounds. So Remix will center that. That's Ganley. We see a horizontal offense from Remix here, and then this slough immediately from Fusion. The backs to the disc, trying to stifle that first play, which they do. Ursenbach was the look, but Wright read that immediately. Jacobson with the run through. Powerful sprinting. Right. Jacobson immediately looking for options. Jacobson finds you-know-who, Valence Arena, and she'll put that out to space for number 13, Nikki Gobert. And that will take Fusion to 15. So your final score in this game, Fusion 15, Remix 7. And I think we can identify a few stories of this match, I would say.
So for Fusion, they stayed hard on D. They grinded to generate some of their turnovers, and then they quickly capitalized on that with a mid-range huck and then a completion into the end zone. So their heads-up play to convert quickly and catch Remix on the turnover was executed for many of their points.
Yep.
And their
I'd say for Remix, it was getting organized a little too late, right? Figuring out who your keys to the game, which players were, on versus off, and what you would have to lock down on offense to get moving. So, the score kind of representative of how that went. Fusion clearly in control. Remix sort of getting into it later on in the game. Even though they scored less points in the second half, they seemed like a better team.
Yes.
In the second half.
Yes, they showed more interest in sharing the disc around, and I think they need to just continue to have multiple key players so the disc can be confidently shared around, and to have plays on paper, but then to have heads up plays, as we saw the slough defense from Fusion was not really reacted to in a heads up manner, and so then we're starting with a dump, and the initiation play from Remix is not as they wanted, but they need to be responsive to that.
Well, we'll leave it at that, as our next stream is going to be featuring an Ontario versus Quebec match. Ontario's Pipe will be playing against Quebec's Quake in our first open match that will be streamed at 12:30. So you can join us for that stream. We'll see you back in about 34 minutes. I'm Clayton Hallett here with Anna Hodgson. Thanks for joining us for the stream, everybody. See you soon.